Hello, everyone. Let me ask you a simple question. What if one skill could completely change your life? Not money, not a university degree, not luck, just one skill. A skill that helped someone go from being rejected to building one of the biggest companies in the world. That skill was English. Years ago, nobody believed this person would become successful. He failed many times. He was rejected again and again and again, but he never stopped learning. Every morning, he got on his bicycle, not to exercise, not to have fun, but to practice English for free. One conversation at a time, one mistake at a time, one new word at a time. Looking back, it wasn't business that changed his future first. It was English. Because English opened new doors. It helped him meet new people, learn new ideas, and see the world differently. The interesting part is this: he didn't have YouTube. He didn't have AI. He didn't have language apps. He only had one thing: curiosity. And today, learning English is much easier, but many people still don't make progress. Why? That's exactly what we're going to discover, because the lessons that changed one person's life can also change the way you learn English. Let's begin. Many people think that learning English is all about grammar. Others believe they need to memorize thousands of words, and some people think they must speak perfectly before they start talking, but none of these ideas are true. The biggest mistake is thinking that English is something you study. English is something you use. That is the difference. Years ago, I didn't have expensive courses. I didn't have online teachers. I didn't have language apps, so I looked for another way. Every time I met someone who spoke English, I asked questions. I listened carefully. I answered with the words I knew. Sometimes my sentences were wrong. Sometimes my pronunciation wasn't good. Sometimes I didn't understand the answer. But I kept going. And something interesting started to happen. Week after week, month after month, English became easier. Not because I became smarter, but because I kept using it. This is something many learners don't understand. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they know more grammar. They wait until they learn more vocabulary. But confidence doesn't come before practice. Confidence comes because of practice. Think about riding a bicycle. The first time, you feel nervous. You lose your balance. Maybe you even fall. But after enough practice, you stop thinking about every movement. It becomes natural. English works exactly the same way. The more you use it, the less you translate. The less you translate, the faster you speak. And the faster you speak, the more confident you become. So before we talk about grammar or vocabulary or pronunciation, there is one lesson you need to remember. Don't wait to become ready. Start with what you already know, even if it's only 10 words, even if it's only one sentence, because one sentence today becomes one conversation tomorrow, and one conversation can change your life. One day, I realized something very important. People who improve their English the fastest are not always the smartest. They are simply the people who practice the most. Not for 5 hours, not for 10 hours, just a little every single day. This completely changed the way I learned English. Instead of trying to learn everything, I focused on one conversation, one new word, one simple question. Then I came back the next day, and I did it again. Many English learners do the opposite. On Monday, they watch 3 YouTube videos. On Tuesday, they download 2 new apps. On Wednesday, they buy another English book. Then, a few days later, they stop learning completely. Does that sound familiar? The problem is not motivation. The problem is inconsistency. Learning English is not a race. It is a habit. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't brush them for 6 hours on Sunday and then stop for the rest of the week. You brush them every day. English works the same way. 10 minutes every day is much more powerful than 3 hours once a month. Small habits create big results. And that's exactly what happened to me. Every conversation taught me something new. Sometimes I learned a new word. Sometimes I learned a better pronunciation. Sometimes I learned a different way to answer a simple question. Little by little, everything started to connect. I wasn't trying to sound perfect anymore. I was simply trying to communicate. And that changed everything. So if you want to improve your English, stop asking yourself, how many hours should I study? Instead, ask yourself, can I practice today, even for 10 minutes? Because 10 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow, and 10 minutes next week will always be one perfect day followed by 2 weeks of doing nothing. That is one of the biggest lessons I have ever learned. There was one thing I did almost every day. I looked for conversations. Not perfect conversations, just real conversations. I asked simple questions. Where are you from? How was your day? What do you think about my city? Sometimes the conversation lasted only 2 minutes. Sometimes it lasted 20. But every conversation taught me something. This is something many learners forget. You don't learn a language by collecting information. You learn a language by using it. Think about children. Children don't start by reading grammar books. They listen, they copy, they make mistakes. People correct them. Then they try again, and again, and again. That is exactly how languages are learned. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes. They think, if I make one mistake, people will laugh at me. But let me tell you something. Every mistake teaches you something. Every conversation makes you better. Every new word makes the next conversation easier. So don't try to speak perfect English. Try to speak real English, simple English, natural English, because communication is always more important than perfection. I still remember many conversations where I made mistakes. Some people corrected me. Some people smiled. Some people helped me. And I'm thankful for every one of those conversations. Without those mistakes, I would never have improved. So the next time you make a mistake, don't be embarrassed. Smile, correct it, and keep speaking. Because every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. And every beginner started exactly where you are today. There was another lesson that completely changed the way I learned. Stay curious. Curiosity is more powerful than talent. When you are curious, you ask questions. When you ask questions, you learn. And when you learn, you grow. Many people learn English because they have to. They need it for work, for school, or for an exam. But I learned English because I wanted to understand people. I wanted to hear different ideas, different stories, different cultures. That made learning exciting. It never felt like homework. And that is something I want you to remember. If English feels boring, don't change the language. Change the way you learn it. Watch videos about something you love. If you like football, watch football in English. If you like cooking, watch cooking videos. If you enjoy business, listen to business podcasts. Don't study English. Live your hobbies in English. Your brain remembers information much faster when you enjoy it. Think about your favorite movie
Or your favorite song. You probably remember many lines without trying. Why? Because you enjoyed them. Learning works the same way. Interest creates attention. Attention creates memory. And memory creates progress. So don't ask, what's the best way to learn English? Instead, ask, how can I make English part of the things I already love? That one question can completely change your learning journey.
At first, I thought I was only learning a language, but I was wrong. I was learning much more than English. Every conversation taught me something new, not just new words, new ideas, new ways of thinking, new cultures. The more people I met, the bigger my world became. And that's something many learners don't realize. English is not just another subject, it's a bridge to new people, new opportunities, and new experiences. Sometimes people ask me, how can English change my life? The answer is simple. English doesn't change your life overnight. It changes your life one opportunity at a time, one conversation at a time, one connection at a time. Maybe one day you'll read a book that inspires you. Maybe you'll watch a video that gives you a new idea. Maybe you'll meet someone who changes your future. And all of that can happen because you understand English. That is why I never looked at English as homework. I looked at it as an investment. Every new word was an investment. Every conversation was an investment. Every mistake was an investment. Because I knew something important. The results wouldn't happen today. Maybe not tomorrow, but one day, everything I learned would become valuable. Learning English is very similar. Sometimes you feel like nothing is happening. You study today, tomorrow feels the same. Next week feels the same. But then, one day, you watch a video and you understand almost everything. You have a conversation and the words come naturally. You read an article without using a dictionary. That's when you realize your small daily efforts were never wasted. They were growing quietly every single day. So don't judge your progress after 1 week or even 1 month. Keep learning, keep listening, keep speaking, and trust the process, because the biggest changes usually happen slowly. Sometimes, people ask me a very interesting question. If I started learning English today, what would I do? Honestly, I would keep one thing exactly the same. I would practice every single day. But many other things would be different. Years ago, finding someone to practice English with was difficult. Today, English is everywhere. You can watch videos, listen to podcasts, read articles, talk to AI, join online communities, practice with people from different countries. Everything is just one click away. So if someone says, I don't have enough resources, I don't believe that's the real problem. The real problem is not using the resources you already have. Many learners spend hours looking for the perfect app, the perfect book, the perfect course, the perfect teacher. But they forget something important. No app can practice for you. No book can speak for you. No course can build your habits. Only you can do that. Technology can help you, but it cannot replace your effort. Even 20 years from now, that will still be true. So don't waste your time searching for the perfect method. Choose one good method, stay with it, practice every day, and let time do the rest. Because consistency will always beat perfection, every single time. Before we finish, I want you to remember one simple idea. Learning English is not about being the smartest person in the room. It is not about having the best memory, and it is definitely not about speaking perfectly. It is about showing up again and again and again. Every word you learn matters. Every conversation you have matters. Every mistake you make matters, because every small step moves you forward. Never think that your progress is too slow. Progress is still progress, even if you cannot see it today. One day, you'll understand a movie without subtitles. You'll have a conversation without translating. You'll read a book without stopping every minute. And you'll look back and realize something. You didn't become fluent in one day. You became fluent one small habit at a time. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until next Monday. Don't wait until next month. Start today. Start with one sentence, one page, one conversation, one podcast. Just start, because the hardest step is always the first one. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode inspired you and helped you see English in a different way. If you enjoyed this episode, keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, never stop being curious. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, and goodbye.